What is good, everybody? So I have officially finished watching every single snap that Tyler Shough took in 2024. A lot of his games I watched multiple times. I even watched some of his games from Texas Tech and Oregon. So I'm officially done with the Tyler Shough film. Ever since the draft, ever since we drafted him, that's basically what I've been doing, watching Tyler Shough. Okay. And I put this out in written form. This video, it's going to be called the same thing. It's going to be called I Watched Every Snap Tyler Shough Took in 2024. Here's what I learned. So you may have come across that already, but I want to put it out in video form too for my audience over here, right? So here's my honest thoughts, no bias, 100% honest thoughts on Tyler Shough, the football player. Not talking about the injuries, not talking about the age, which I still feel like the age thing is overblown. Purely football. This is my thoughts on Tyler Shough. So even from the very first game I turned on, it was obvious right away why Kellen Moore would like this guy, why the Saints would like this guy, and why they would draft him at 40th overall. He's got the prototypical build. He looks like if you built a quarterback in a lab, that's what he would look like. He's like 6'4", almost 6'5", 220. He's athletic. He can scramble. He can evade pressure. He can run. He's tough. He has a huge arm. He has a really, really good arm. It's not like, a Josh Allen arm or something like that, but it's like a tier below that. Really, really good arm. Can make every single throw on the football field. No questions asked. He can rip an out route versus man coverage from the far hash. And college hashes are a lot wider than the NFL. He can throw open his receivers, which is something that you have to be able to do at the NFL level. He can out throw the coverage. He can do it all. He can process post snap, pre snap. He In Louisville they ran a pro style offense. There were a lot of under center. They would go to the gun. They would a lot of ton of play action, and they would also mix in the RPOs of the college game. But for the most part, it was a pro offense, pro style offense. A lot of quick game, a lot of 3-step drop, boom, get the ball out of your hands. 5-step, boom, get the ball out of your hands. And he operated that offense at a really high level. And it's just moral of the story, it's not hard to see why they love this guy. He has all the tools. Um, I if he was 21, 22 years old and didn't have the injury history, he would probably be the first quarterback taken in this draft. Easily a first rounder, easily the talent alone. Right? So it's easy to see um why they love him. Like he could do it all. Like and in terms of speed, he's fast for a quarterback. He's not like quick. He's not gonna like make a guy miss an open field. But if there's a lane, he's gonna take it and he's gonna take off. Right? His mechanics are really clean when he's kept clean in the pocket. His release is beautiful. The velocity he puts on the ball, the accuracy, especially on some of the deeper throws, like the where he's able to place the ball in such tight windows, it's actually it's flabbergasting at times. I hate to use that word, but it's true. Like you watch some of these throws that he makes, and it's like, wow. Like they make you stop and say, wow. You know, Another really big strength of his is his ability to create outside the pocket on the move. When he's flush from the pocket or when he runs out of the pocket, he's always keeping his eyes downfield and he's looking to make a play on the run. And so many of his great plays were made outside the pocket on the run. He can, hit a receiver in stride. He can throw deep on the run. He can, throw touch passes on the run. He is just really good at creating plays outside of the structure of the play. Another thing, that you notice right away when watching him is he is able to layer throws really well, especially against zone coverage. So when he has to fit a ball into a window where there's maybe a defender low and a defender high and the receiver in the middle, he has no problems fitting it over a linebacker or a safety or DB. He can throw like those whole shots against cover two where you got to place the ball between the flat defender and the deep safety, and you gotta kind of fit it right in there in that tight window. A lot of quarterbacks can't make that throw. Um, and Tyler Shough has no problem doing so. So that's another strength of his game. Another one is his ability to read the defense's leverage on his receivers. So, what I mean by that is there's a lot of times on his tape that he's going to throw a ball to his receiver, despite his receiver being draped in coverage or with the defender right on him because he understands where he can put that ball to where only the receiver can contort his body to make a play on it, right? So he's really good at back shoulder stuff or seam stuff, seam back shoulders. He just understands how to play. He just understands the leverage of the defense and how to use it against them really, really well. Um, so that's another really big strength of his that comes up on tape bunch of times. Seam covered, his tight ends covered. He don't care. He'll throw it back shoulder to the seam to where only the tight end can get it, and he can also do that back shoulder throws outside the hashes, and he also does it a lot while he's, again, on the run. Now let's talk about his weaknesses. Now, everybody, I'm sure you've heard it, right? I'm sure you have heard by now his weakness is pressure, and um, he is a lot more skittish than you would like when pressure gets to his face or when there's a free rusher. He makes some boneheaded throws when he's under pressure, which, let's be honest, that's not the majority of quarterbacks do, right? Unless you're like the elite of the elite. Every once in a while, you're going to throw a crazy interception or a crazy throw off of pressure. It's just how the game works, but it pops up with him, um, at least the skittish part, a little more than you would like, right? But that being said, I don't think his biggest issue is him being skittish and throwing a ball into, double coverage. I think the bigger issue is him um, avoiding stepping into a throw to hit a wide receiver that's coming open. So um, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this, right? So there's several times on tape where it's came up that he has a chance to stand in the pocket or step into a throw to throw it to a receiver that's coming open, but will opt to either leave the pocket or will pull the ball down and look to evade the pressure at any ways necessary instead of standing in there, stepping into it, and delivering a throw and taking a hit. Now, if you watch his tape back in Oregon and Texas Tech, he was a lot more willing to do that before the injuries. Now that when it comes to him being a little less um less willing to do that, it could be because of his injury history. It could be he's skittish because of his injury history. He's trying to stay healthy, or it could be Louisville told him, "Hey, look, don't take any unnecessary risks. If you feel pressure, get out of there, get down, throw the ball away, whatever." Right? I don't know if that's something his coaches told him, but um, and I do want to mention it's not an all the time thing. Like there are tons of instances where he makes plays off of pressure with pressure in his face. He's threw touchdown passes, deep passes, short passes. He reads the blitz, throws it where uh, the void in the blitz is. There's plenty of instances of him doing that. So I don't want to make it seem like this is an all the time thing where every single time there's pressure in his face, he's going to do something stupid or pull the ball down and try to run. That's not the case at all. And I wrote in the article that I put out, I said that it's more of a more than you like issue rather than an all the time issue, if that makes sense, right? So, you know, will that be able to be coached out of him? Will he get to the NFL after, being able to stay healthy for a full season in Louisville and, get through that mental block, if it is a mental block, and work in there and stand and deliver? Because I'm telling you guys, I am telling you guys, he has the tools. He has the ability. He has the arm. He has the mental capacity to operate a pro style offense, to operate at a high level. He has it. Everything you want, he has. Period, right? And then I wrote like his pro comparison. To me, he reminds me of a mixture of Jared Goff and Ryan Tannehill. Now, Goff is a guy who has obviously had success in the league, made a Super Bowl, has resurrected the Lions, but he has always been somebody who, when you pressure him, especially interiorly, he gets those happy feet and he just doesn't perform well under pressure for the majority of his career, right? Now, again, just like with what you see from Tyler Shough, there are times when Jared Goff will piece up a blitz, piece up pressure. But for the most part, when you pressure Jared Goff, you see his feet get antsy and he makes a boneheaded play. But when he's kept clean in that pocket, telling you. So in terms of pocket, he reminds me of Jared Goff. And the Ryan Tannehill part, just in terms of his build and his body type and his athleticism and his ability to throw on the run, reminds me a lot of Ryan Tannehill um, in that regard. So basically, the conclusion is if he's willing to negate some of his bad decisions under pressure, or get through that mental block of being willing to stand in there in the pocket and deliver a big hit when it's third down and your team needs it, then I think I really think he could become a guy you can win games with in the NFL. And I see a lot of people say that he is at his ceiling developmentally wise, and I just don't think that's the case. Physically, yes, probably, right? More than likely. But mentally and technically, I think there's still room to grow because despite him being in college for so long, it's not like he was in college, what, 7 years? But it's not like he was starting for 7 years, right? He started, I think, less than a total of 2 seasons or around 2.5 seasons. So it's not like he's been starting the whole time, just developing on the field. He has had broken bones and things like that. So I think there's still room for him to develop, technically and mentally when it comes to doing things. And on the mental side of the things, I think he's already really good at that, diagnosing what he sees and getting the ball out. So if he can get even better in that regard, then hey, perfect, right? And then, technical wise, you can always hone in on your mechanics, you know? And I think right now, like I said, when he's kept clean, his mechanics are actually pretty good. So ceiling wise, the argument that, oh, you don't draft him because he's old and he's reached his ceiling, I don't agree with that. And the age thing, again, it's a non factor to me. Doesn't bother me at all. He's still going to be a two contract player. If he gives you 8 good years and retires at 34, that is a win. You took the guy in the second round. He plays 8 years and gives you good quarterback play. That's a win, man. You know? And that's even saying if he retires at 34. We're seeing quarterbacks play till 40 now. So the age thing is just so overblown to me. It's actually ridiculous. Um, yeah. Basically, that's how I feel about it. I think Tyler Shough, obviously, it was Kellen Moore's guy. I don't think that there'll be much of a competition with Spencer Rattler. As messed up as that is, that's just the nature of the beast. This is a new regime. Kellen Moore chose his guy, so Tyler Shough is going to get the the you know he's going to get the more fair shot if that's the way you want to put it. So that's just my thoughts on Tyler Shough. There, appreciate you guys watching this.